It is Midday Live. Leeann Tweeden and Dr. Drew. We are going to speak in a moment to Colonel Tom Manion from the Travis Manion Foundation and Heather Boice of the 911 Heroes Run. Travis was killed by an enemy sniper while trying to save a wounded teammate. Today, Travis Manion Foundation exists to carry on a legacy of character, service, and leadership embodied by Travis. And Colonel Tom started his career in the Marine Corps, retiring after 30 years. And then Heather worked at a Baseline Financial in the second tower of the World Trade Center. Heather was not in the tower that day. However, she was traveling. On September 18th, Heather will participate in her third Heroes Run in Jacksonville, Florida, along with thousands of survivors, first responders, and other veterans across the country who will run this month. Remember victims of 9/11 attacks, first responders, and veterans of the post-9/11 years. Again, first of all, Heather, welcome to the program.
Hi, Dr. Drew.
Hey, Heather.
Hello.
And then Colonel Tom Manion. Tom, welcome.
Hello, Colonel.
Hi, Dr. Drew. Thank you.
So I'll let you each tell us about your programs. Let's start with Heather. Go ahead. Tell us about the run.
The run. Well, let's see. I guess I did my first run in 2017, and I was looking for a way of honoring those. It had been really difficult even to deal with September 11th up to that point, so I signed up for the run, and it was a really fantastic experience.
And
even though I'm not a runner.
I'm guessing Baseline Financial lost a lot of people on that day, yes?
Well, I think we were lucky. We lost some. The second plane actually landed right in our office.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah. So
how was that only some?
I think it was a miracle that so many got out, after the first plane hit.
Right.
A lot of people got out. And there were still people in the office that saw the plane landing in our lobby, but the building was so big that they got out a back stairwell. So,
wow.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I managed to get out before the building collapsed.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
That's something I'd always wondered, what went on those floors where the plane hit.
My husband's cousins had a friend that was in the second building, and they were talking on, at the time, AOL Instant Message, and the plane hit the first building, and his friend was, he was talking to his friend, and he said, "Are you guys told to evacuate?" And he's like, "No, they're telling us to stay in place."
Yeah.
And then that was the last time they heard from him. They were told just to not do anything, just stay there.
Everyone knows about the Port Authority's mistake on that. Hey, they thought they were doing the right thing, obviously.
Yeah.
And Heather, you were not in the building that day. How did you react to what happened to you when this was all transpiring?
Well, I was watching it. I saw the first plane hit. I was watching the news. And then, we don't know what's going on. When the second plane hit, we knew it was something really bad. Mm-hmm. And I just thought everybody's dead. Still, it's really difficult to talk about. And I even to this day, I can't, there's a lot I just can't quite get my head around.
Right.
Was diagnosed with PTSD after that, hospitalized not too long after. And it's just been challenging. It was just so big and so traumatic. And, all that, why were they there and I wasn't? Survivor guilt.
Right, indeed. And now have you found by giving back and participating with other survivors, or how should we call them, other folks that were traumatized by the event, does that help?
Yeah, it was amazing. I didn't think it would be as powerful a moment in my life as it was. But when I signed up for that race and I showed up, it was like I took my life back that day. And, maybe it was just the physical aspect of actually running and doing something and not hiding under the pillows on every 9/11, but just saying, they don't win. I get my life back. And honoring those who will never get that chance.
And then, Colonel, your organization, will you tell us about that?
Sure. 9/11 changed everyone's lives. Ours certainly as a family. My son was at the Naval Academy when 9/11 happened, and we knew what that meant coming ahead after graduation. And sure enough, right after graduation, he was on his first tour in Iraq. And before he went back for that tour, the reason we got this run started was one of the last conversations I had with him, he was back in the Philadelphia area station in Camp Pendleton, came back and went up to New York and just happened to say, hey, let's go by Rescue 1 with he and another Marine. And they went by Rescue 1, and they learned that Rescue 1 lost almost all their guys that day. And I still remember the conversation with him. He came back and he said, Dad, I went up there to thank them for what they did that day, and they came back and handed me this hat, and it said 9/11 on the back. He pointed to it, never forget, and he said, wear this when I'm gone, and know that this is what we're going over there and what we're doing in Iraq. And, of course, he never came back, and then fast forward that following September, my brother came to me and said, Tom, Travis loved the run. Let's put a run together in our small hometown outside of Philadelphia, Doylestown, PA. And we didn't know what to expect. We had our fingers crossed, and lo and behold, 350 people from the community came out to remember all those we lost during 9/11, all the first responders that did so many heroic things, and then also all the guys that we've lost since. And from that till today, 12 years later, and we've got 90 runs across the world. And what you're hearing from Heather is what we hear time and again from different communities and people coming together. And that's the whole essence of our foundation is bringing communities together, focusing on, my son's message, if not me, then who, talking about what we have as a country and a community and trying to push forward and carry forward for the heroes that we lost.
Well, Colonel, first of all, thank you for your service and your son's service, and we're so sorry for your loss. And I'm sure he'd be so proud of you and for everyone else continuing in the legacy. And 9/11 touched all of our lives. My husband's a lieutenant colonel who's still serving now, and he was, in obviously during 9/11, and he's from Manhattan, so it touched him very deeply. And doing something like this and continuing on this, the legacy and this run. And have you found that people maybe in the beginning that were remembering the events of 9/11 and sort of trying to heal from that you have found with these 90 runs across the world that other people have sort of joined in with, other things like PTSD from deployments or the loss of a loved one from a deployment, not necessarily just 9/11 related, but just dealing with their own demons and finding community within these people and finding comfort in that?
Yeah, it's all about that. And as you heard from Heather, I mean, there's something to be said for everyone coming together and remembering that day and remembering the losses, but also finding strength together and finding strength in moving forward, and in their honor, making a difference and making the world, the country and the community a better place. And what better time to be doing that than what we're dealing with today as a country and as a world. So I'm certainly, I take it all back in a second. I certainly, there's not an hour that goes by I don't think about my son, but to see some of the great things that have come out of it, it's truly inspiring.
And Heather, I wonder if you have any follow-on for that.
Yeah, I think what is so attractive to me about the Travis Manion Foundation is that it's so service-oriented. And for me, just, part of dealing with that tragedy and trauma and the aftermath of that was finding a way to get rid of all the anger and be of service. And they're so service-oriented and about character and, love wins. Love wins.
Yeah.
And I like that message they have.
Heather, I noticed you made a small comment and you kind of giggled. You're like, and I'm not a runner. Did you find that I know I did a bicycle ride for veterans, some wounded veterans, some that, didn't have limbs. And I did the 60-mile ride from Ventura to Santa Monica Pier with them. And I literally was in the back. I was the caboose. I was beaten by everybody, and I had to be pushed and helped all along the way by literally people that didn't have all of their body parts. And I was humbled deeply, and I found that they were helping me, and I was helped along the way. Did you find that in your runs and your experiences that you were helped by veterans just coming together and helping you?
Oh, absolutely. Because, I think of myself as athletic, but running, probably not my thing.
Mm-hmm.
And in this race, I did the Jacksonville race, the last one. And, early September, it's probably a heat index of 115 and 98% humidity in Florida. And there was a fireman in full gear passing me, running down the beach. I didn't mention it was in the sand. Wow. And, just
humbling.
very, very, but also like, well, he's here and I'm here to support him. So it was great.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you again. The website is at TM Foundation and also travismanion.org.
So these runs are every year, Colonel, and people can find, do they go to your website to find where the rides or races are every year?
Yes, every year during the month of September, and it's travismanion.org, and there's all sorts of information there, not only about the run, but all the other things that we do within the communities around the country. So we'd love to have people go to the website and sign up, become we call them Spartans, be a part of our Spartan community and get out there and make a difference in your community.
Thank you, sir.
And you don't have to be a veteran or a family of the fallen either. We want everybody involved and engaged.
Excellent.
Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Colonel.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You got it. Thank you, guys.